Man, I just love it when these Ram news just keeps getting leaked in over and over again by my sources, my dear sources at the Sterling Heights Assembly Plant. And so, as I told you guys in the previous video, they told me of a Hellcat engine that was rolling around, got put on a assembly line, and then got taken away to the little private area. But they told me again, and I'm just so excited, and I just can't hide it because they told me that yet a second engine was rolling around and it's been spotted. So we're going to talk about that in this video because we're going to see some Hellcat power, and we're going to see some Hellcat power pretty soon. Okay, well, over 47,000 friends and the 56% of you guys who have watched these videos over and over again, but don't hit the subscribe button yet, help a butter out to try and get my first milestone of 50,000 subscribers. I need less than 2,500 more, you guys. Help me to that first milestone. So lend me your ears.
Lend me your ears. That's disgusting.
So let's get right into this because this is very interesting how this stuff's progressing pretty fast. Because it kind of seems as though they're kind of like a tight timeline to get something announced, because it almost seems as though they're trying to get this truck together and stuff before actual roadkill night. So maybe we might see a TRX announcement or some other truck announcement and stuff before, and we're based by the time we get the roadkill nights. But I'm gonna get to that in a second. Don't worry about that. We're gonna get into this little timeline, right? Because I say the timeline is kind of funny because I told you guys a few days ago that there was a 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi V8 engine that was seen rolling around the assembly plant, and that engine was basically being rolled around by engineers. Now, my source who talked to me about this, I was probing him basically back and forth, trying to figure out specific things about that engine. Because if I know exactly how the engine looks like, I can pretty much tell exactly what's going to happen. Because if the engine had, for example, a black lid on the blower, then that's basically the Demon 170's blower that's on that engine. So we can expect more power. But then if there's a block on there, whatever, what color is the block, right? If it's an orange block, that's a regular 700-ish horsepower Hellcat block. If there's a red block, that's the Red Eyes 800 horsepower-ish block. And then if there's a yellow block, that's the actual Demon 170's 1000 horsepower block. So the color of the lid and the color of the block makes a huge difference on what's going to be placed inside of a next generation Ram TRX or a street truck, because I'm gonna get to the street truck part in a second. Going back and forth with my source, he was basically telling me that, yeah, that engine had like a regular looking blower. He actually told me that the block was an actual orange block. So basically look like it's gonna be a regular 717 horsepower, 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi V8 engine. And I think that's gonna be because of what Ram told us, because Ram told us back a few weeks ago and stuff, when all the journalists was there and stuff, they told us why that the 5.7 liter Hemi with e-torque was coming back first. That engine was last offered in 2024. So that basically means they don't have to go back to the government again to go get the engine recertified, because it was last certified in 2024. And basically that's what Tim Knissis had actually said. So the beautiful thing about that is, what other V8 power engine was offered in 2024? The 6.2 liter 717 horsepower Ram TRX engine. So that's why I believe we're only going to see the 5.7 liter with e-torque and that 6.2 liter engine for now, because they don't have to go back to the government and get them recertified and stuff, right? They don't get certificates for them. Now for future engines, 392 maybe, or a red eye version, or a D170 version of the engine, or just a bare 5.7 liter Hemi without e-torque system, they got to go back to the government, get all that stuff taken care of and done, all the emissions nonsense redone, recertified, all that stuff. You got to get all this stuff done first before they can put it into a Ram truck. So that's why I believe we're seeing these two engines, the e-torque 5.7 and this orange block 6.2, before we see those engines. So it's not to say that they're not coming, it's just they're not coming right now. I think we'll probably see them probably sometime maybe late next year after they get all that stuff taken care of. But going back to this timeline, like I said, my source told me that they saw just a regular engine rolling through the assembly line, and then had a source tell me that, yeah, there was a 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi V8 orange block going through the assembly line, going through all the little processes and stuff. And then it went to the point to where it got wired with the transmission and stuff. It got all the electronics and stuff plugged into it and stuff. Like it's getting ready to be shot down the assembly line and put into a chassis. But it didn't go that far. It basically got to the last point where it got wired, and the engineer took it off the assembly line, put it back on the cart, and rolled it off to that little secret little area. that they have a secret area in the plant to where they go work on future product. So this future product area is basically where they do all those stuff with mules and all the testing and fitting and stuff. So this is where that engine got rolled off too. So in that area, you'll see like models like the Tungsten before it got revealed. That was in that area. The Ram Rebel GT and stuff, the one with the TRX interior, that was probably in that area, right? The TRX was in that area. RHO's in that area. So all these future products is going to be in there hidden away from the UAW so they can't leak things to us. But this right here is a great thing, especially for this video, because I had another source telling me that, yeah, there was another engine, another 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi V8 engine with an orange block that was put on the assembly line, went through all the little checks and stuff, went to all the little stations and stuff, engine made up to a transmission, and all the little pieces added to it, all the little wiring stuff, and they got taken off the assembly line by more engineers and roll off to that little secret little area. So that just means to me that they're putting together mules, and they're putting together mules fast, because there's only two choices I have with this right here, right? About what's going on. Either they're putting these engines inside of a TRX, or they're putting these engines inside of a street truck. Now, I hope that if it was going inside of an actual TRX mule, that, I mean, I would assume that they would actually take an RHO chassis, just run the Hellcat engine down the assembly line, and just pop that supercharged 6.2 liter engine right into an RHO, the engine, transmission and stuff, pop an RHO, and then roll that completed truck, drive it into the actual secret area, and whatever panels they got to change, they would do it that way. Then that's how I figured they would do. But hoping that the fact that they're taking this engine off the assembly line and then rolling back to the private area, and they're not showing anybody what this truck actually is, I'm hoping that it's a TRX with more changes, right? Hope that, you know, simple things like having a different colored key, for example. I don't know where my key is at right now, but I'm hoping that it'd be simple stuff. Here go my key. Hoping it had like maybe like a red key. I hope that we had like maybe 37-inch tire options, right? I hope there's like a updated suspension, because I heard a few years ago that they was working on an updated suspension for the TRX, but it never came out. But I'm hoping that there's not a TRX and an RHO clone. Like, I don't want both of these trucks to look exactly the same, and it's like people think I'm driving around an RHO. Like, I don't want to see that, right? I don't want to see the same thing with like a Scat Pack, wide body, and a Hellcat. People can't really tell the difference between both of them, right? Because the Scat Pack, the new ones, have that old Hellcat hood on them. So I don't want to see the same thing with RHO and TRX, where both of them got the same exact hood, both got the same exact fenders and stuff. And the only way you can tell the difference between a TRX and an RHO is basically there's a badge on the hood that says, one says Hurricane, one says Supercharged, and when right there on the bed, the little sticker says, one says TRX and one says RHO. So I'm hoping there's more visual changes that makes it distinguishable between RHO and a TRX, right? I mean, I don't like the Hurricane, so that's why I like the RHO. I mean, I hope that eventually in the future they put a 392 in the RHO and go about that way. But even if there's 392 in there, I would still rather have a TRX that looks menacing. I want the most menacing TRX that Tim Knissis and Ralph Giles, them they can actually think of, like go balls to the wall with how aggressive a TRX will look. So that's what I'm hoping. And then the second part is that they could be putting this engine inside of a street truck. Now, this is something that me and TK's Garage, we've been reporting on for about, what, 5-6 months now, that we heard that they was going to put actual bigger engines in actual street trucks. Kind of revive that street truck market, because now that you don't have carb, they got to worry about carb fines and all that nonsense and being carb emissions, and now they don't have cafe fines. That was the big one, that in that big beautiful bill. That's like the most dramatic improvement that all these manufacturers to see across the board, right? And now they don't have to worry about that 40 mpg like fleet average they got to worry about, right? Now they can actually make 10, 15, 20 mile per hour or 20 miles per gallon Ram pickup trucks that doesn't have to worry about carb and stuff, and they don't have to jack the price up in order to deter as many people from actually buying it. So I'm hoping that we'll see like a supercharged powered TRX, and like it would be cool to me if you saw like a TRX street version. Don't got to actually put the TRX suspension on there, but you have like the regular TRX body, maybe like some 22s or whatever, kind of like how Cadillac is doing with a bigger wheel and stuff. But I think that'd be a pretty cool option to have a lowered TRX on 22s, and then supercharged engine in there, and way higher than 118 mile per hour governors on the truck, maybe like 140, 150, 160 and stuff. I think that'd be a cool, awesome TRX, because I think I would definitely buy that over the actual off-road TRX, because I'm never going to take it off-road, whatever, right? If I want an off-road TRX, I'll go buy a classic 2021 version and literally have about the same truck and do all kind of off-road stuff to that one. So that's basically my two theories with this actual engines. Now there's like two, maybe even three rolling around that plant, going to the secret area. They're either putting it in a TRX mule or they're putting it in a street truck mule. And I was talking to TK. We were supposed to be talking back and forth about some things that we actually heard from another source, but we'll talk about that in another video. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is a very good update? Oh yeah, before I go, and if you wonder why I keep saying this could be a TRX mule, you can check out the document right here that me and TK, we leaked out. So we have the actual timeline when the TRX is going to debut. We've been leaked this document a while ago that, yeah, TRX Q1 of 2026. So that's why we set this timeline. But hey, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think this is going into a TRX mule or is it going to a street truck mule? I mean, which one would you rather see? Would you rather see a $110,000, $20,000 TRX, or would you rather see maybe a $90,000 street truck, whatever? I mean, I don't know how much money it would be different between having all the off-road stuff jacked on the truck compared to none of the off-road stuff on there and just a regular, I guess, round truck with about a good Hellcat engine there. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. And trust me when I tell you, when it comes to Ram news, I am on top of it. I got some of the best Ram sources and I'm very, very interested in what Ram has to offer. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. And until the next time, I'm out.